Hello everyone and welcome to the prestigious international awards dedicated to industrial vehicles. And also this year to present the Sustainable Truck of the Year awards, I have the great privilege of being here with my colleague Fabrizio Dalle Nogare.
Thank you, Fabio, and welcome back also from my side. It's great to start the year once again diving into technological evolution of trucking. Let me say, Fabio, our award reached this year its 9th edition.
Exactly, Fabrizio, and let's not forget that the Sustainable Truck of the Year Awards was established by Vado Torno, the historical Italian media that was born in 1962, together with Sustainable Truck&Van, which is a recent media fully dedicated to low-emission vehicles. And this year, we have the great honor to present a very interesting news. Actually, beside the typical categories of Sustainable Truck of the Year, this year we are about to introduce a new category which will be fully dedicated to long-haul, fully electric vehicles. So, another important step towards a more sustainable future.
The commercial and industrial vehicles we'll see on our roads in the future must pollute less. Europe is asking us to do this, but it is also an effort to be made to preserve our planet. In recent years, we have been experiencing the rise of several technological solutions, which we try to tell you about every single day on our media channels. The so-called alternative drives are now at the not easy test of the market. Manufacturers are just forced to review their strategies. At the same time, they must deal with huge investments that naturally spill over to those who buy the vehicles. On the other hand, we are dealing with a plurality of technologies and solutions that is remarkable and in some ways, let me tell you, Fabio, also exciting.
Very well, Fabrizio, and as mentioned, this year marks an important moment with the introduction of a very new award categories which will be fully dedicated to long-haul electric vehicles. So this is a recognition that better reflects the industry evolution and the market trends. And talking about market, Fabrizio, maybe you can tell us how 2024 has performed.
Of course, Fabio. Looking at what is happening in Europe, the latest data available to us show that electrification, the progress of electrification is rather slow. In the over 12-ton segment, electric truck registration do not exceed 1% on average, with peaks of 5 to 6% only in countries like Scandinavian countries or the Netherlands. In the lower segment, between 3.5 and 12 tons, the average share of registered electric vehicles in the total grows to close to 10% in a generally shrinking overall market. Among LCVs then, even at the European level, electrification seems to be suffering. In the first 9 months of 2024, the share of electrics in the total fell below 6%, losing 1 percentage point compared to 2023. In short, the share of diesel vehicles registration continued to grow even among vans.
Right, Fabrizio, that's for sure a complex scenario, but let's get back to our award and let's go back to the job done by the jury. You have to think that to evaluate the vehicles in competition, the jury has to go through 40 technical parameters that are divided in 6 macro groups, which are engine, transmission, safety, comfort, connectivity, and sustainability. And in order to better represent the market, the award is split into 4 different categories. The first one is the category van, dedicated to vehicle with a payload up to 3.5 tons. Second category is called distribution, dedicated to vehicles with 2 or 3 axles up to 26 tons. Then we have the category called tractor, for vehicles up to 44 tons, so the classic road tractors. And for the very first time this year, we are going to introduce a new category called e-truck, dedicated to fully electric long-haul vehicles. So a recognition looking toward the future of the industry, rewarding innovation and commitment to increasingly sustainable mobility. So Fabrizio, I believe that the best way to recap what we just said will be watching a short video. All right, Fabrizio, we are approaching the awarding session, but before that we have an interesting interview that you have recently conducted here at the Polytechnic University of Milan.
Yes, Fabio, this year we decided to look at sustainability from another less conventional point of view. Let's find out more about Lens Lab Polimi then.
Lens Lab Polimi is a research group of Politecnico di Milano affiliated with the design department. And it has been led by Professor Carlo Vezzoli for over 20 years. So basically we started working on design for sustainability since the late 90s. And in fact, in 1999, we published one of the first books on sustainable design in Italy, which was also featured by the Italian TV at the time.
What are the main targets of the Lens Lab Polimi?
Lens Lab Polimi works on two main research areas. So the first research area is about how to design sustainable products, so products that have a low environmental impact. The second area is how to design sustainable product service systems, which basically are sustainable business models where companies are no longer selling products, but they are selling a mix of products and services that satisfies the customer, but at the same time, it does that with a lower environmental impact.
And so, what is the eco-design?
Eco-design is basically an approach to design where focused on designing products with a low environmental impact, so more sustainable products. And we prefer to call it life cycle design, product life cycle design. Because it emphasizes a key aspect of designing sustainable products, which is to keep in mind that the product has a life cycle and the environmental impact of a product is determined throughout its entire life cycle. From the moment we extract the resources to make the products, we produce the product, we distribute it, we use it, and we dispose of it. All of these 5 phases determine a certain environmental impact. And so the first step for eco-design is to be able to assess what is this impact, how much is it. And so often when you do eco-design, we use tools like life cycle assessment or LCA, which is very commonly used nowadays, even though it's also a concept from the 90s. And LCA is used to determine the impact of the product across the entire life cycle. And then based on that impact, you are able to prioritize to know on which phases of the life cycle you should focus on. And then you can decide which eco-design strategies you can use to reduce the impact of your product. And in Lens Lab, we have like a consolidated framework based on like decades of research to describe the eco-design strategies. And very simply, it's about reducing the amount of material or the amount of energy, the toxicity, extending the life of the product or extending the life of the material, facilitating disassembly, and so on.
How can this be applied to the commercial transportation sector?
Well, eco-design actually has always the same process. So no matter the product, the procedure is always the same. So the first step is to find a way to quantify the impact across the entire life cycle. And once you've done that, then you can prioritize which life cycle design strategies you can use and basically where to start. Normally in life cycle design, we always say you have to apply all the strategies, but the order is important. Some strategies are more important than others and require more design effort, and certain other strategies you might kind of like spend less effort onto those because they can reduce a very tiny percentage of the impact. But of course, in the case of commercial vehicles, there are some peculiarity. So first of all, these are products that consume energy to work. So obviously, when you do the life cycle assessment, you need to consider what is the impact of your energy source. So we're talking about batteries, so you should assess the entire production cycle of batteries. But if we're talking about diesel, we also need to consider how diesel is basically created, and the same goes for biofuels. Then another interesting point is how you measure the impact. What exactly are you measuring? It's very common these days to measure the global warming or climate change, like what's the impact on global warming, which is fine because of course it's a major issue. But normally what we recommend as Lens Lab as a best practice is to consider not just one impact indicator, but to consider all the available impact indicators. The European Union, in their environmental footprint methodology, they identify 16 impact indicators. So when we're talking about heavy vehicles, which have multiple ways to function, if you're talking, for example, about biofuels, and you just look at climate change, of course, climate change-wise, it's actually quite a low impact. But if you consider the other indicators, like let's say land use or water used, then the impact can actually be pretty high because you are using a lot of soil to cultivate the plants needed to create the biofuels. So that's why it's better to use a multi-indicator life cycle assessment to have a more objective and complete way to look at the impacts. And then the rest of the process is the same. You also need to determine the impact of the truck or the vehicle itself, so not just the fuel. Many companies, they just look at the fuel and they completely ignore that there is a truck. Yes, the impact might be small, usually, but still it's worth assessing how can you further improve the design of that truck or vehicle throughout its life cycle, so not just looking at the fuel. And then once you have the data, you can apply the exact same strategies that I mentioned before.
We've been talking about climate change and European decarbonization targets. Why can the application of sustainable product service systems can help reduce carbon footprint and meet these targets?
Well, product service systems essentially are business models where the company has an incentive to design more sustainable products. And so by designing a sustainable products, the impact will be reduced. So the way they work is that the company doesn't do traditional sale anymore. They sell a mix of products and services that satisfies the customer. But at the same time, often they have this idea that the company has an extended responsibility over their product or over their product life cycle. So basically they are either they retain the ownership of the product or they are responsible for its performance throughout its life cycle. It can be done in different ways. So what happens when you have this kind of situation is that the company has more interest in designing that product to be sustainable, simply because since they have the ownership of that product and maybe they take it back, etc., they can, by taking it back, they can basically reuse it or recycle it or remanufacture it and so on. And so they basically save money. It's a very simple thing at the end of the day. If you design your SPSS, Sustainable Product Service System, in a proper way, the company has incentive to save money, and so they have to design it in a more sustainable way. And maybe I can bring you some examples. There are some companies that are developing certain parts of their vehicles, some key parts like engines and so on, with a sort of a credit scheme. So the customer buys the product, buys this engine, and then if they return it to the company, they receive a credit, so they can pay less when they buy the next part. And when the company takes back this product, they will remanufacture it, and so it becomes almost as good as new, and it will be also upgraded with like latest components, and then they resell it. So what happens here? The company, in this case, has more responsibility over the product life cycle because they take it back, and then they will save resources to produce a new product because they are remanufacturing something that is already there. They don't need to re-extract the resources to make the original product. And then, of course, there are also many cases of like rental or leasing, which is also another way. There are cases in which companies, they maintain the ownership of the vehicle and then they rent it, for example, pay per use or pay per kilometer. And if the company is managing the rental themselves without brokers, then they probably will have an incentive to design that vehicle to be more reusable, or to be able to take back something and save costs on their side. Also because their traditional way of selling is different now. They are relying on this kind of subscription or pay per kilometer model. Another thing that we are seeing these days is with batteries. So there are some companies producing heavy vehicles. The vehicle belongs to the customer, but they take back the battery. So the battery, there is an extended responsibility of the producer on the battery, which they take back, and they can either like try to repair it or restore the functionality, or they can sell it to secondary markets for other purposes. So these are all examples of how the SPSS can create an incentive for companies to design sustainable products and thus reach a direct decarbonization by redesigning the stuff that they make.
Thank you so much, Gabriele, for hosting us.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Very well, Fabrizio, but now it's time to get back to the topic moment of the day and talking about the competing vehicles. As mentioned earlier, the award is split in 4 different categories, and also this year the editorial staff of Torno, together with the editorial team of Sustainable Truck&Van, had to scan the whole market in order to find 13 finalist vehicles. And now, without any further delay, it's time to find out who are the winners of Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025. And let's start with the new category. So let's see together the finalists for Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025, e-Truck.
The first truck to win the Sustainable Truck of the Year among e-trucks is a model designed according to the latest ergonomic criteria, which respects and maintains the key features of its ICE counterpart, from power to state-of-the-art aerodynamics. Fabio, I give you the pleasure to announce it.
Right, so the very first winner of Sustainable Truck of the Year for the category e-Truck is Volvo FH Aero Electric. And today we have the great pleasure of having with us Mr. Giovanni Dattoli. He is the CEO of Volvo Trucks Italy. So welcome and congratulations for this important result.
Thank you for the award. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So for Volvo Trucks and for the Volvo Group in general, electrification lies on a well-established and well-recognized path. We also know that to sell more e-trucks, several factors are needed, and not all of them can be controlled by truck makers. So, based on Volvo's current technology and expected developments, how confident are you looking at the near future?
I think we need to start from a little premise. I mean, we have been starting delivering trucks in 2019, and we have already delivered over 4,000 trucks all over the world. But a small part of this has been delivered in Italy. We are around 50 trucks delivered in the last 3 years out of the 80 that has been registered. So super good market share realizing in the country, but in reality the numbers are very little. And behind this there are different reasons. The adoption rate of the technology is based on different factors. First of all, we need to deliver product and services, but then we need incentives from state because yes, there is a different cost, and so in order to have a TCO that is acceptable by the market, we need to have incentives and support from the government that they have benefit from the fact that the emissions are going down. Then we need infrastructure to recharge trucks. Then we need to have a grid that is able to deliver the energy in the quantity and quality that is needed to recharge the trucks. And so all these things made together will bring to success. If we don't have even one of these factors, we can deliver the best truck of the world, but we cannot get the result. And this is a little bit the situation where we are in Italy. We are still missing incentives, adequate incentives, and we are not able to offer the quality and quantity of energy that is needed in different places. So we are confident that this will come, and we see part of Europe that is already able to deliver this. When we look at our country, maybe we need a little bit more time to do that, to really do that.
All right, and 2025 is set to be an important year for further developments of Volvo electric trucks, thanks to the introduction of the electrified axle. So what kind of benefits we can expect from this technology?
Yeah, with the e-axle we will be able to reach the 600 kilometers mileage in a day with a single recharge. That is good because it offers a different variety, it wide variety of routes that a single company can do with our trucks. But a small reflection before that is that already today 45% of the transport are done in Europe within a round trip of 300 kilometers. So I can say in theory already today close to 50% of the transport could be electrified in Europe. Do we need to have more? Yes, we need to have more because this will bring flexibility to the transport company, more productivity, but I think we should, especially in our country, start delivering what we have, adopting, accepting this technology, and then working in order to develop it more. So super good that we are investing and growing and believing in this technology as we are doing. On the other hand, we need the government and the transport company and who is buying the transport itself to really believe in this technology as well.
All right, and now it's time to present for the very first time the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 for the category e-truck.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. This award is the result of a lot of work done in believing in this technology. So thank you very much for this.
All right, it's now time to find out the finalists for Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 category Van. The van awarded by the jury this year has shown a strong desire to keep on innovating even after 40 years on the market, and it still stands out for its strength and load capacity even with its zero-emission version. So, Fabrizio, who is the winner for the van category?
The winner of the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 in the van category is Renault Trucks Master E-Tech.
And today we have the great pleasure of having with us Mr. Edward Savelli, he's the CEO of Renault Trucks Italy, together with Marco Bonaveglio, Sales Director of Renault Trucks Italy. So welcome and congratulations to both of you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your welcome. We are super delighted. We are honored to receive this award today. I would like to thank, of course, all the jury and all the people that have worked on this project and on this award session. You guys are always super close to us, to all the constructors, but also to the customers. To be awarded like a Van of the Year 2025, means a lot for us. It's a super news for us as Renault Trucks Italia, but also for all the bodybuilders that are working with us on this kind of product also. Super motivating also for all the network that we have with us, meaning our 20 dealers of more than 50 official and authorized workshops that are working every single day to promote and also to service our customer on the road in Italia. I'm totally convinced that new Master E-Tech will totally match the requests of our customer and also all the transporters that are not our customer yet. But they want to operate the last mile delivery with a robust, reliable van, sustainable and ecological, and with a range never reached before.
Great. And let's also take a moment to reflect on the long history of one of the most appreciated commercial vehicles in the European market. So how does this new version of Master connect with the evolution of its previous models?
Yeah, first of all, on behalf of the company, I am very proud that the new Renault Truck Master receives such an award. Why? Mainly because usually when we speak about awards or prizes, we are more talking about the heavy-duty range. And in this case, we're talking about the light-duty range, where in our range, which we have a complete range from 2.8 to 44 tons, we can basically fulfill all customer and business needs in the market. But let's speak about some history here. So to come back in time and to see a vehicle similar to a Master, we have to go back to 1965 with the SG2. Instead, if you want to really speak about Master, the first Master was released in 1997. So basically we have 30 years of history which have had a certain, let's say, evolutions, both from a technical point of view and, of course, an aesthetic point of view. So what connects the current new Renault Trucks Master with the previous generations? What we can say is that, first of all, it comes with the success and the appreciation this model has had in the years, not only in Italy, but across Europe. Then we have had a lot of feedback, positive feedback from the market, especially here in Italy. And of course, this is a model which is known by its robustness, but also by the fact that it's a versatile model. So we call it a small truck. Most of the time we are capable of selling a small truck. And today with the electric range can cover, of course, urban logistic, last mile delivery, but also parcel delivery, which are key in logistics. So to conclude, actually the new Renault Trucks Master can be, of course, appreciated for what it has done in the past, but more specifically for what it's able to deliver today, in the present, but in the future. And with the electric range, of course, it can cover all kinds of needs. Today, our customers, the first customers to which we have delivered the first vehicles, are giving us very positive feedback. First of all, the turning radius is excellent, has improved a lot in the years. The aesthetic look, which is a very decisive look, both externally and internally, and as you can see also with this red band in front of the grille, makes us very clearly visible from the road. And then to conclude, most of our customers are telling us that the comfort of driving this vehicle is like driving a saloon car.
So, Mr. Bonaveglio, we have been talking about the renewed look of this electric van, but the new Master impresses also with its promised range of more than 400 kilometers. Do you feel confident that customers can use the electric vehicle maybe without the range anxiety they usually have, above all in urban environments?
So absolutely yes. So let's make it clear. We are talking first of all of a cycle which is an optimized cycle, WLTP, which, let's say, takes into account most of the criterias that would impact a range of an electric vehicle. So if we look at WLTP, we are, let's say, confirming a range of above 460 kilometers, which then puts us best in class in our category. But then we all know that we have certain factors that can impact the range of these vehicles. First of all, the driver, of course, where he's driving, if it's on a highway, if it's on it's a mixed or in the city center. It depends a lot if it's the topography where he's driving, if it's on a hilly side, on a mountainside, on a flat area, or weather as well, because if it's warm or cold or rainy, this would all impact the range of these vehicles. So today, this vehicle comes to the third generation of electric vehicles on the market. And not everybody knows, but we are one of the most experienced with this kind of technology. We started actually in 2018 with the first Master Electric with, at that time, a 33 kilowatt-hour battery. And then it evolved in the years with a 52 kilowatt-hour battery up to the current version of 87 kilowatt-hour battery. The current version is actually made for the electric, let's say, technology, so from the beginning, whereas the first vehicles were more made for diesel technology adapted to electric. So today we have a battery which is, let's say, tripled in size. We have two electric engines that are much more efficient than before. So we have definitely a range which has increased dramatically. So to frankly say that this vehicle is only made for urban logistic applications would be a bit reductive. We now consider the new Renault Trucks Master E-Tech as a real regional distribution vehicle. Considering the fact that this current technology can be charged with a charging station of 130 kilowatt fast charge, the battery can go from 20% to 80% capacity in less than 40 minutes, which puts then this vehicle really in competition with the diesel version. So we are confident.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bonaveglio. Now, without further ado, let's hand over the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 in the van category to Renault Trucks.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, Fabrizio, let's move on with the program and let's find out the finalists for Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 category distribution.
Again, the award-winning vehicle has a long history behind and has gone through a clever redesign recently. A common thread in this long history is the versatility of this truck, which has enabled it to be a big player in his segment. And now this truck aims to continue to do so also with the new CNG-powered engine. Fabio, who is the winner of this category?
Well, the winner of Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025, the category distribution is Iveco Eurocargo CNG. And today we have the great pleasure of having with us Mr. Massimiliano Perri. He's the country manager of Iveco Italian market. So welcome and congratulations.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm very proud to be here today to withdraw this prize. No, it's a prize to our product, excellence of our product, our services, but also it's a prize of our people who work every day, who strive every day to produce such a kind of excellent product. Of course, I read also this prize as a prize to Iveco choice to decarbonize the transport, not only using one technology, that is the technology of the electric, but also using the best what is currently available on the market, that is biogas, and also in the diesel version with the biodiesel.
Mr. Perri, the year 2025 is quite a special one for Iveco, celebrating its 50th birthday. So what role has the Eurocargo played in Iveco's history?
Of course, we are very thrilled, excited to this anniversary. No? We are excited to be part of this anniversary this year. There will be a lot of celebration during the year. Eurocargo, of course, is an iconic product. It was launched in 1991, and its success was based on the great flexibility of the product. No? The product's got a numberless less of variation. No? Engines, total gross vehicle weight from 7.5 till 18 tons. Engines, diesel and gas, cabs, wheelbase. So the vehicle can be chosen within 11,000 different applications. That is, every client can find its own Eurocargo. Of course, with the latest model 2024, we kept and changed, let's say, the main features of the product, adding what the latest technology gives us. From one side, the new engine, as I said before. No, we have a new gas engine in our vehicles. We're going to have a new gearbox that have 8 gears. We're going to have a new human machine interface, a new cluster, digital cluster. Of course, the vehicle will be equipped with the latest ADAS, which will make the vehicle the safest ever.
So, Mr. Perri, we talked about the past, now let's take a look to the future. So why do you believe that natural gas, especially when blended with biogas, is an effective solution to reduce the environmental impact of Eurocargo?
Yeah. We strongly believe in the technology of the gas. No? We were the pioneer in this field. We launched the first vehicles more than 20 years ago, and currently we have over 50,000 vehicles or engines running in Europe with this kind of technology. Gas is a mature technology to replace diesel in any kind of application, from city distribution to long haulage. For instance, now we have our S-Way, our flagship that can be equipped with the Cursor 13 engine and can reach 1,000 kilometers of autonomy. Gas now is already available all over Europe. Now the infrastructure is very wide, and with the biogas form, the vehicle can reach the complete decarbonization of the transport. You know, biogas can be produced from the waste from the city, waste from zootechnical application, and what is the magic, let's say in this way, no? The biogas, when it's formed, absorbs CO2, which will be the same as the vehicle emits during function, reaching a balance equal to 0. So that's why we are very confident that this technology will help us and also the industry to reach the complete decarbonization.
Thank you. And now it's time to formally present the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 for the category distribution.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, now it's time to find out the finalists for the heavy-duty category. So let's see together the finalists for Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 category Tractor. So the winner of this category set a new fuel consumption record just a few months ago during the 500 kilometers test conducted by Vado Torno, achieving an impressive 4.29 km per liter of diesel. So Fabrizio, who's the winner of the tractor category?
The winner of the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 in the tractor category is Volvo FH Aero 460.
So we have the great pleasure of welcoming once again Mr. Giovanni Dattoli, CEO of Volvo Trucks Italy. So welcome and congratulations for the second time today.
Thanks again. You made my day today. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure again. To be recognized in two different technologies says a lot, because we are investing in this variety of technologies. So being here recognized in both, it's really a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So they say that the past shapes the future, and the FH series recently turned 30. So how the evolution of this iconic vehicle have shaped the modern FH Aero as we know it?
The development of a product, I think it's a result of a lot of small differences that are being carried in the project during the year. And based on the culture, on the heritage of the FH that turns 30, as you said, last year, I think it's super important that Aero shows off that this trend in developing on incremental differences, the product is super important. We have been working on the driveline for many years. We have been working on the design for many years, and with the Aero we have used these 30 centimeters that lower allowed us to use in order to make what I think can be seen as a paradigm shift, because we having used these 30 centimeters to have a different shape of the front of the truck, improving the aerodynamics. This, I think, will be perceived from also our competitors has a good trend for the next design development. And I believe that having gained between 5 and 7%, 7 is what our customers are giving us as a result, is just working on the design without doing any change basically in the driveline. I think it's a super success. So thanks for this, and thanks for the heritage we got, and I think we will be able to deliver these really important results.
So Mr. Dattoli, cleaner internal combustion engines and reduced fuel consumption thanks to optimized aerodynamics, that's what we have been talking about so far. So my question is, Volvo is still investing in ICEs?
Volvo is investing in many different technologies, and this is why our R&D costs really exploded in the last years, because there is not a technology in front of us that will change completely the world of the automotive. What we can do and what we need to do is to continue working on different technologies in order to reduce emission, having clear which is the final target. The final target is to reduce emission. So, and ICE engines will not go on pension. They will not retire for sure, and we will. What will change? We will not probably use diesel in future, but we use biodiesel, HVO, these kind of combustions, and then we will have other different technologies that will be developed in parallel to this. So we will go on working on LNG using biodiesel. That's a super effective technology for the future, and then we go on with our investment on electromobility and on hydrogen. Hydrogen will be developed on two different technologies. One is based on electromobility trucks, so adding fuel cell, and the other one will be on ICE engines, so just using hydrogen as a propeller. That's what will happen. So ICE will not retire. We will go on investing. What will change is what we will put in order to make the truck having the combustion. I mean, we will change what we eat, basically. It's, if we try to apply it to human being, I mean, we go on eating and we go on being the same, but using different source of energy. That's what will change.
Thank you so much. And now it's time to hand over the Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025 in the tractor category.
Congratulations.
Thank you again.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Fabrizio, it's time to wrap up the event. So congratulations once again to the 4 winners of Sustainable Truck of the Year 2025. Let me also say that this year the level of the competing vehicles has been truly outstanding. And certainly the future looks exciting and full of innovations.
You're right, Fabio. It was a really good evening. Dealing with innovation, we know by now, is our bread and butter, and we'll keep on doing it every day as usual. Many thanks to all of our guests and all of you, and see you next year for the 10th edition of the Sustainable Truck of the Year Awards. It will be an even more special edition.
So thank you for following the event, but keep on following us on the channels of Vado Torno together with the channels of Sustainable Truck and Van to keep updated on the latest industry news. Thank you and goodbye.
Goodbye.